We're first going to activate muscles. So we're going to hug in, just squeeze the knees in, squeeze the chest up, squeeze your arms, but don't wrap your arms around the legs. So you've got to use your belly muscles. So hug in, hug in, hug in, and then stretch as far out like a starfish as you can. Stretch your fingers and toes, stretch, 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 stretch. And then do that again. So hugging right into the center, squeeze into a little ball without using your arms on your legs. Feel the belly muscle switch on, and then stretch out like a very, very big starfish on the ground. Take a couple of breaths in your starfish. And then if you just flop onto the ground, you'll notice that you've gotten a bit of a charge in the body, which is why we naturally, and a lot of mammals naturally do those kind of stretching out. So let's now do the side stretching. So hug into a little ball and take the whole little ball to the right side. So roll to the right side and then stretch the top side. So stretching the left hand and left toes away from each other. So really, really stretch all the way into your belly muscles. So pull the hand and the toes way away from each other and stretch that upper side of the belly and arms and legs. Okay, hug into that little ball again and roll to the left side and stretch across the top side, which is the right side. So the fingers and the toes as far from one another as possible. Stretch, 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 as though I'm pulling your foot and pulling your hand. And then come back into the center and just rest into the center, flop down just to feel. It's likely that you've got now some fresh energy in the whole system. Let's do the diagonals now. So hug into that little ball in the center, hug. And then take yourself, just flop down for a moment, take the right foot across to the left side, cause a twist through the middle of the body and pull your right hand across to the right side. The right foot goes to the left, pulls down, the right hand pulls to the right side. So you're stretched across a diagonal. You've got a twist through the body. Take a couple of breaths here. Pulling yourself into that twist. There's a spiral through the body. All right, pull into that little ball into the center again, and we'll do the other side. So left foot comes across to the right side, left hand pulls to the left. So you've got a diagonal kind of line and spiral through the whole body. Pull the fingers and the toes away from one another as though somebody's pulling your foot and pulling your fingers. Take a couple of breaths. Last breath here. And then come back into the little ball. We'll just reset in the center into a really active starfish. Fingers and toes. Pull, 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 pull. Switch on the buttocks. Even you can push into your heels and lift the buttocks a little off the floor if it doesn't hurt your lower back. And then flop down, and we'll just give ourselves a moment just to feel. Take several deep sighing breaths. Deep inhale. Sigh. Again. How relieving. And one more round. And so that's a little kind of pandiculation from the inside. Pandiculation is just this natural action of wanting to enliven from the center. All right, hold the knees and let's rock a little from front and back. So we're rolling along the spine. Just softly, nothing too dramatic as we start to get going. And then let's come into our hands and knees. From the hands and knees position now, let's just give ourselves a moment to massage our spines, moving our pelvis around, moving our chests around. And so a massage-like movement. Massaging through the spine, closing our eyes perhaps, feeling the spine would really like some delicate and perhaps then some very deep movements. Would love for you to become really a part of the center of you, that the awareness drops right in to the center of the whole torso. And so move so freely, it absolutely doesn't matter what it looks like. Moving so freely that you can just feel the spine awakening, freeing the spine from the sides, from the front and the back. We'll lift off the knees into a down dog and push right back to the tailbone. And this is also quite like a pandiculation stretch. It's the stretch that dogs and cats make. You might have seen them as they wake up in the morning or wake up after their naps. Of course, cats have so many naps. They do a lot of these types of pandiculation stretches. All right, and then walk forwards. Let's come into floppy forward bend. Floppy forward bend. If it doesn't feel good in the spine, you can just bring your elbows onto the knees and let the head flop at the very least. If it feels really good to hold the elbows, drop off the knees and kind of give yourself a little sway from side to side. Floppy forward bend, swaying. So we would really like the spine to be as free as possible, the rib cage, the arms, the head as heavy as possible, swaying from side to side. That's lengthening the back of the legs. It's enabling the spine to decompress all the way through the neck. It might feel a bit overwhelming. So if it does, just bring your elbows onto your knees and that will take some of the weight away. All right, so let's walk up the legs. We'll walk our hands across to the knees and up through the thighs and all the way up to standing. All right, bring your arms out. You can open your feet kind of wider than the hips and soften the knees a little bit, not sitting on the invisible chair, just feeling like you've got a nice wide base. And then turn your right hand down and back. And so you want to spin the shoulders from the hands all the way around. And so spin, turn the left hand down and around and around and around. So you want to go all the way from the fingertips to the shoulders. Keep going from side to side. You're spinning the shoulders all the way from the fingertips in different directions. And so if you work that out and it feels like, oh yeah, I can get that, you can go a little faster. So it's almost like you're opening and closing a door kind of handle on one side and then the other. Spin all the way up into the shoulders. So this is a pretty groovy dance, and we don't want it to hurt the shoulders or the shoulder blades. All right, so spin, spin, spin for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wrap your arms around the chest just to have a bit of a rest, and breathe 3 deep breaths into the back of the shoulder blades. Inhale, 1. Sigh out. Ah. Breathe deep into the back of the rib cage, 2. Ah. And 3. Ah. And let's drop our arms to the sides. Let's now sit on that invisible chair. So we'll pulse the chair for a few beats, pulsing, pulsing like we're bouncing on a Pilates ball. Pulse, 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 pulse. And then sit, interlock the hands, lift them up. Close your eyes or soften your eyes and take 3 deep breaths into the side ribs. Inhale, 1. Exhale. 2. And 3. Okay, get off the chair, release your arms, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, to give yourself a little shimmy and a shake. And we'll just stand for a moment and feel. We'll feel perhaps a little bit more awake around the shoulders. You're likely feeling awake around the chest. You might feel like you're just a really much more grounded after doing a few deeper breaths, some experimental free movement. All right, so let's now focus on the chi, the energy of the body. We're just going to stimulate the chi in different ways. Let's bring dragon claws, so fingertips become massage tools, and we're going to just tap around the bottom of the rib cage, so underneath the breasts. If you've had recent food, don't tap too much, although it's kind of silly to eat just before yoga. But if you feel like full, by the time you go over your stomach, it won't feel good. All right, but get to the bits that do feel good and tap, tap, tap. Bottom of the lungs, underneath the breasts. Get into, if you can, right into the crease underneath the breast. All right, and then let's take like little beaks, and we'll tap the chest, the sternum. So like a beak, 2 birds are pecking at you. This is called the thymus pump. So we're just stimulating the chest, stimulating the thymus, the heart, the lungs. So tapping like 2 birds annoyingly pecking on the sternum. Okay, the 2 birds now annoyingly peck just underneath the collarbones. So we're just pecking into different places to stimulate the chi. Take some deep, slow breaths now as you keep pecking on this collarbone area. This is called the kidney 27 point, for those who know the meridian theory, but it doesn't really matter, apart from I find it very fascinating that when we tap at these various places, it starts to kind of stimulate us right from the inside. And so they say that we can release anger from this point. So take a big, deep breath, release the anger. Oh. All right, so now with the fingers being softer, a little bit further open, and we're just going to tap underneath our eyes, around the cheekbones, where the cheekbones become like the nose. And so soften here, we don't need to go hardcore. The beaks of the birds are a bit softer. They're kind of like kissing, little kisses with the beaks. If you smile, it's not going to work, so don't smile. Okay, another few little kisses with those two beaks, and then release. And just let's have a moment to feel, just standing feeling. It's likely that we feel quite energized, very present, a little bit stimulated around the face and the chest. All right, so let's take our claws and just stimulate the scalp by running our claws. If you've got nice long fingernails, it's going to feel great. So claws through your hair, less for the groovy hairstyling and more for stimulating the scalp. Okay, take your claws, and we want the finger pads now at the center of the forehead. Press in, so pressing back to the bone, and then open just about an inch. So opening like a window. I found that this one's kind of like opening the third eye, opening the doorway to intuition, the doorway to seeing without our eyes, seeing with our mind's eye. Okay, and then just feeling, sensing. Let's just give ourselves a whole body kind of stimulating wash. So skull, it's kind of like tapping all the fingertips onto the scalp. Brain, knocking into the brain, getting the gray matter of the brain to be stimulated, stimulating the cerebral spinal fluid around the brain, as well as the scalp. Okay, going to the forehead and the eyes, tapping gently, like little soft taps onto the eyes, of course. We don't want hardcore tapping on the eyes. And then across the face, slap the face. We want to red the skin. We want a little bit of flush into the surface of the dermis. So slapping, stinging the skin. Tapping the ears, just gently. It'll be very noisy. It's amazingly noisy, right? It's so loud. And then to the chest. So now you can really beat across the breast if you'd like, if your breasts are not tender. If you don't have breasts, it's chest, so it's going to be fine. So slap, slap, slap. Getting yourself around the back of the kidneys, getting a little soft whack, 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 whack on the kidneys. And then all the way down. So go across the belly, outer hips, pelvic floor. Don't forget the pelvic floor. Around the buttocks. And you're going to go all the way down. So go down one leg, slapping and stinging the skin. Go down the other leg. We need the sting of the skin. We want stimulation. Okay, and then down the arms. Sting the skin all the way down the arms. So both arms. And then come back and just get the back of the neck. All right, a full body sweep from the head, down, back of neck, front of chest, around the breast, down, past the kidneys and the sides of the legs, giving yourself a big slide down, come to the inside, come inside legs, up across the groin, up into the belly, and up and over the head. Just give yourself a little sweep over the head. And again, back of neck, center of chest, crossing the breasts to the kidneys, around the sides of the body, sides of the legs, and up through the center, up in the inner legs, up through the groin, and up to the face, and just let yourself rest at the top. So stand for a moment now and feel. It's almost like we've had a hug. Somebody's come and embraced us. Perhaps you feel like, oh, I feel held, and it's the body holding itself. Your bones holding you, your skin holding you, your hands so clever to be able to stimulate the chi and the life force all the way up to the center, from the center to the edges. All right, so let's now do some more shoulder movement, some more focused movement. Come into elbows tuck into the sides of the chest, and then we're going to open the hands outwards. So there's an external rotation. This is a bit of a pinchy movement. So as we do all of these movements, just kind of soften your knees. So opening and closing and opening, keeping the elbows nice and tight to the chest. So this will be difficult for some. You might notice one arm is way easier than the other. Okay, hold it out, even though it pinches a little bit. Don't shrug. In fact, pull your elbows and shoulders down, which will be even more pinchy. Okay, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then swing the arms to get rid of that intensity. All right, so shoulder rolls, elbows tuck in, and then we're really, really slowly rolling the shoulders. Lift your chin rather than sticking your chin forwards. Lift your chin up a little. Rolling the shoulders really slowly, rolling really deliberately, finding the whole of the shoulder girdle, the collarbones, the shoulder heads and the shoulder blades movement, and then roll in the other direction. So just being careful, don't be aggressive, enthusiastic, but not aggressive. Rolling, instead of sticking your head forwards, bring it out, back and up. All right, and then let's take our arms out and do this very kind of familiar spin. And so I want now for you to imagine, as we spin from side to side, that you're clearing some energetic space. You're clearing enough space so that you feel safe, that you feel you have some personal space, and the space is just for you. This space that you're creating, the world of space around you, you're creating an energetic space that's just for you. If you have a lot of people around you, if you have a lot of contact with people, then create a bit of space. But even if you don't have a lot of contact, create a bit of personal space just for you. A safe space to be creative, to be emotional, to be active, to be full of ideas and creativity, to be full of love and affection. All right, and then we'll take ourselves into the center. The fingertips will be tingling. All right, so take your hands onto your belly. Let's do a bit of that very familiar breathing, the Kapalabhati breathing. We want to stimulate from the hara all the way from the center outwards. So really stimulating the organs, kind of punching the air out from the belly, throwing the air out through the nose. This is a nose-based breath. All right, ready and go. Belly's coming in as you exhale. Ten more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale, hold. Pause. Throw that air out, lean on the legs. Hold it out. Lean on the legs, lock out through the elbows, hold the breath out, draw the chin in and belly up. Release, stand up. You can feel this rush of energy. Okay, drink that energy in and start again. Hands on the belly, Kapalabhati breathing, 30 to 40 pulses, ready, go. Inhale, hold. Throw that air out. Hold it out, lock out through the elbows, belly in, chin down. You might feel a little vacuum pulling up underneath the ribs. If it's working, you'll feel it happening in the throat. And inhale, stand up. Feel the flood, the rush of energy. Drink from that energy base. Okay, last round of Kapalabhati breathing. If you want to do more than 40, be my guest, just go in your own way. Ready and go. Inhale, hold. Throw it out. Hold it out. Lift the belly in like a vacuum. And standing up, absorb the energy. Okay, last round of this type of exercise, this chi massage or chi flow exercise. Right foot forwards, left foot back. We're going to inhale forwards through the nose. Exhale, bring your hands around, bring fists, pull the elbows back. So that'll be a in through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, ready? Make it about shoulder mobility. So each time you pull your elbows back, allow the shoulder blades to move. Lift your chin up rather than looking down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hold, interlocked hands, lift up, hold the breath in. Exhale, step forward. Take a moment. We'll start to feel really quite thrilled by this point. We've stirred the pranic body. We've stirred the energy. Okay, the right foot back, left foot is forwards. We want about 30 to 40 pulses of this one. If you're going to do this in your daily practice, 30 to 40 pulses, it can be done anytime in the day. It's really enlivening. Okay, ready, go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hold, interlocked hands, lift up. Exhale, step forwards. Pause a moment. And so we've really stimulated and become vibrant from the inside. And even our asana practice, even our posture practice will inject energy into the joints, energy into the system. So let's now do our sun salutation practice. We're going to do the sun salutation in the Hatha yoga version. That means we're not breathing slowly. We're being really quite deliberate and bossy with the breath. It's got some lunges in it. So let's remind ourselves of the sequence. We'll go slowly at first. All right, inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, fold down. Right foot steps back, back knee down, arms up, inhale. Exhale, down dog. To the cobra, knees come down, chest goes through. Exhale, down dog. Right foot forwards, back knee down, arms up. Step forward, forward bend. Arms up. Back to the beginning. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold down. Left foot back, back knee down, arms up. Down dog. To the back bend, knees, chest, scoop, 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 cobra. Exhale, down dog. Left foot forwards, back knee down, arms up. Exhale, forward bend, stepping forwards. Inhale, arms up. Back to the beginning. Take a moment to feel. Because we've thrown ourselves up and down, forwards and backwards. We feel the stimulation all the way into the organs, into the structure of the body, into the core and the spine. Okay, let's go again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold down. Right foot back, back knee down, arms up, inhale. Down dog. Back bend, knees scoop. Down dog. Right foot forwards, back knee down, arms up. Exhale, forward bend, stepping forward. Arms up, back to the beginning. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold down. Left foot back, back knee down, arms up. Down dog. Back bend, knees scoop through, cobra. Down dog. Left foot forwards, back knee down, arms up. Stepping forwards, arms up. Back to the beginning. Have a moment to feel. We're going to do one more round. For those who feel really comfortable, and only those who feel kind of like they're really enjoying this process, you're going to do it on one inhale. You're going to hold the breath. Some of you have done this with me before. If you don't feel sure about it, then don't do this one. Just do the breathing practice, the normal practice like we've just done. But if you want to try, we're going to try and do it on one breath. I won't be able to talk as we do it though. So we've got to go fast. We're going to inhale and then go through that whole sequence. If you need to breathe halfway through, breathe. Okay, so for those who are just going to do the same again, you're going to do the breathing version of this. For some of you, you're going to do it on one inhale. Okay, if you're going to do it on one inhale, give yourself some deep breaths now. Okay, inhale, arms up. And so if you've done that on one breath, it's pretty hardcore, but it's very stimulating. So if it doesn't feel good, don't do it that version. Just do the breathing version. Okay, we've got the left side to go. Just one more round of this one. So if you're going to use one breath, take some breaths now. Okay, inhale, arms up. And so, so hopefully that felt okay. And for those who did it on one breath, it feels quite stimulating now. So let's take our legs wide, take our knees out, and we'll just pulse that chair for a moment. We're going to push out, bend knees, sit onto the chair and push out. 3 deep breaths. 1. Exhale. Notice that the energy is going outwards now. You're pushing out. Last breath, pushing outwards. Okay, now let's push inwards. 2 fists, pushing inwards, centralizing. 3 more breaths. 1, 2, 3. Fists pushing together. Okay, have a break. Heel toe, give yourself a little shimmy and shake. We're going to do it again. So we're pushing out, and then when we push in, we're going to go backwards. Fists into the center and pushing in from the back. All right, so knees are bent, sitting on the invisible chair. Okay, push out, energy out. Dispersed, you can feel the chi, the prana flowing through your hands. It's as though you've got light beaming through your hands outwards. 1 more breath. Okay, fists behind you. Push fists together, centralizing the energy around the back of the heart. 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3. Okay, get off the chair, heel toe, shimmy and shake, jump around a little bit, just have a little kind of rest. All right, so that is about energy out, energy in. Let's do one more round of that energy practice. And so sit onto the chair, push out. All right, 3 breaths. 1, energy out. 2, if you've got somebody else's energy inside your system, out. The government's energy, out. Okay, and bring all the good energy in, loving energy, creative energy in. Push the fists together, energy in. the good stuff, the creative, the inspired, the loving and the kind. Okay, energy out, anything that's unskillful, anybody else's toxic energy, any memories that are in your system that are not skillful to hold on to, energy out. Push it out, let it go all the way out through your palms, energy in behind you. If you can't take your fists into the center behind you, just hold your own hand behind you. It's going to be fine. Energy in, the good stuff, the creative, the loving, the inspired stuff. And then up and off the chair, and just give yourself a little shake, just to shake out any excess. This is very stimulating work, and so you'll get a bit of excess. All right, so now we're going to do the sequence, one of my favorite sequences, the breathing sequence where we gather. We're going to scoop and gather. Scoop and gather, big circle, energy in, all the good stuff right into our heart center, and feed from it. Feed from that energy, the energy of your body, the energy of your breathing, the energy of the earth, the energy from one another, which is really abundant, the energy that we get from one another. Oh, so full, abundant, like a fountain. Lift it up, inhale, and share that out. Okay, scoop and gather, energy. Catch it, bring it in. The energy from our bodies, from our breathing, from our effort, from the earth, of course, everything that we need to eat and drink and breathe, the energy from the sun, the energy from one another, our kin, and just the humans everywhere, the animals everywhere, each other. And lift up like a fountain, sharing it out. Okay, again, bring it in. Deep, slow breath, focused mind, the energy of a focused mind. It's incredibly powerful. The energy that you get from focus, commitment, dedication. When we harness our power, the power of our minds, the power of our loving hearts, the power of our action, like an abundant fountain, up and out. Okay, last one. Scoop and gather as much as you can gather, and right into the center of you, focused mind, the energy that we get when you focus, the energy that comes out to us when you dedicate yourself, the energy that you share when you're sure. My goodness, how powerful it is when you focus. Okay, the abundant fountain, inhale up and out. Okay, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Just give yourself a little dance around, mostly for the ankles, just so that you can stimulate across the ankle joint and feet. Let's do some asana practice that involves bringing our blocks into play. If you don't have blocks at home, it's going to be fine. You can lean onto legs and things. You won't have blocks to lean onto. All right, so we're going to take the block behind the right heel. Let's do triangle pose. Right toes turn outwards, back toes turn in a little bit. That front heel could come into the line of the back arch. So you might line up the front heel with the back arch if you'd like that. So the right heel has a block just near it. Okay, bend both knees, push down through your feet, through your legs, charge through the legs, lift the arms up on the inhale. And exhale, reach to the right. Reach, 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 reach. Hand onto the block. Lift the left hand up to the sky. Lengthen legs and arms. Slow, deep breathing. 1. Exhale. Let's use our asana practice, these postures, to balance our energy. We've stimulated and moved a lot of energy. Let's allow our practice to inject a balance, a sense of balance within ourselves. We're productive, yet we're reflective. We're social, yet we're also very personal. Okay, bend your right knee to lift up. We're going to do that one again, but this time the core version. So you can do the leaning version again if you'd like to. Otherwise, we're going to take our arms out, palms face upwards this time. Inhale. Reach, 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 reach to the right. Take the left hand onto the hip and just keep reaching. Just keep reaching. If you need to lean on the block, it's just there. Keep reaching, keep reaching. We're grounded through that back foot and we're reaching through the right hand. We're grounded as we send energy out. Okay, bend the knee, pick up the block on the way. Let's go to the other side. So cut the left heel with the back arch. You can line that up. The block comes onto the outside edge of that left heel, sorry. All right, so bend both knees, charge the legs by pushing down, active feet, active legs, lift the arms up on the inhale. And reach, 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 reach. Take the hand, left hand down onto the block, right hand into the sky. Breathe deep and slow, allowing balance. Deep, slow breathing. Last deep, slow breath. You can bend that left knee to come up. All right, so let's go again, but this time the core version, we're going to be reaching out with the left hand. So bend the knees a little bit, charge through the legs, push down, lift the arms up, palms face up. Exhale, reach, 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 reach. Once you get as low as you're willing to go, right hand onto the hip and we breathe. You can bring your hand down and lean if you need to. Reaching out, but grounding through that back foot. Can you feel the anchor that you have in your back foot? So you've got balance. You're anchored and offering. You're anchored and generous. And we can bend that knee. Let's pick up the block on the way. Let's take both blocks into a stack. We're going to do the rotated triangle pose, which is not the most simple posture to do, but if we have a stack of blocks on the outside edge of the right foot and then bring the left foot back, but bring the heels or the feet into onto train tracks. So you're not lined up, you're not on a tightrope with the feet. You've got about a hip width distance between the feet, so the pelvis has a bit of space. Right hand stays on the hip. Inhale, left arm lifts. Reach forwards and see if you can take your left hand onto the blocks. If you need to bend your right knee a little bit, so be it. Trying to lengthen the right leg might be fun as well. And then spin the chest, lift the right shoulder up towards the ceiling. This is a very challenging position to hold. We're going to breathe here. This is a standing twist, part of Trikonasana. And so we want to spin the lungs, lengthen through both legs as much as possible. Last breath here. And let's lift all the way up. Just give yourself a moment. Take the blocks to the other side and we'll do Parivrita Trikonasana on the other side. So the blocks onto the left side of the left foot. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. You're on train tracks with your feet. Bring both hands onto the hips. Straighten out through both legs. Inhale, right arm lifts. Reach forwards and across to the blocks. Ground your hand onto the blocks and spin the lungs. Lift the left shoulder up and draw the right shoulder down. Breathe deep and slow. Bend that left knee if necessary. Try and anchor through your right hand to spin the lungs. And then bend the knee to lift up. Give yourself a moment. That one's kind of quite hardcore. Bring the blocks to the right side of the mat, so the right foot. And now we're going to do the side angle pose. So bring your feet wider and into the warrior two setup. So the bend of the right knee is kind of over the right heel there. We want the right thigh to be nearly parallel to the floor. Take your right hand. Are you able to reach the blocks? If you don't have blocks, bring your elbow onto the knee. So if you can reach the blocks, ground down, sweep the left arm across the face, looking up to the left hand and breathe. If you feel like those blocks are too high, you can get rid of one and go a little lower. Breathe deep and slow. Bend that right knee, track it out. Because your right knee and right arm are connected, you can take the right knee across, take the right knee out to the right arm. You can push your right knee against the arm. So you're grounding the knee into the arm. And then releasing, inhale up. We're going to do the same position. We'll just take a break. We're going to do the core version of this position now. And so if you like always, if it feels too hardcore, you just lean down or come out. All right, back into the bend of the right knee. Lift the arms out. So you've got this kind of Y shape with your arms. Take a breath here in the center. And then tip over to the side. Breathe deep and slow. This is quite something. If it's too much for you, bring your elbow down. We've got 2 more breaths. And let's push through our leg, come up, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Give yourself a little twist and shout, jump around. And we're going to go to the other side. So bring both blocks to just beside the left foot. Go into the warrior 2 legs. Bend that left knee deeply. The thigh can become nearly parallel to the floor. The left hand coming onto the blocks. Ground into that hand, bend that left knee. The knee can push against the arm. Take the right arm over the face, looking up to the palm and breathing deep and slow. Deep, slow breathing. Using these postures to balance our energy. So we feel excited and optimistic, but not agitated, not erratic, optimistic, hopeful. And then lifting up. Just give yourself a moment. We're going to go back in. Okay, so left knee bends. Lift your arms up into a kind of a Y shape. And when you're ready, tip and breathe. We can be strong and focused, deep and slow with our breathing. 2 more breaths. Last breath. And lifting up and heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Give yourself a little jump around, a little twist and shout, a little kind of twist dance. All right, let's go into the floor now. And so bring your belt just in case you need it for some of the seated positions. Come all the way to sitting. And we'll take the feet together and the knees apart for Baddha Konasana. So bring the heels and the pelvis close together. Hold the ankles and butterfly the legs, just butterflying the knees. And then just roll from side to side a bit, just rocking a little from side to side. And then come into the center. And the last of this is to pull forwards a little bit. We just want the lower back to release, the hips to be open. You can either hold the ankles or the feet. It might take a few breaths for you to kind of eke into this one. It takes a little while for us to kind of develop this one. The lower back is stretching nicely. The pelvis is so heavy, it's grounded. Of course, the hips, the inner thighs are opening. You're drawing your knees towards the floor. Last breath, eking a little further forwards. And then coming up. All right, we need to make sure there's nothing behind us for the next exercise. So get yourself to the point where you're clear behind you, no furniture, no blocks, nothing to run into because we might fall backwards. We're going to hold the big toes with our fingers, first 2 fingers around the big toes. Lift the heels off the floor. All right, so we're going to roll back And then sit back up without bringing heels onto the ground. Roll back, sit back up without the heels touching the floor. So rocking back and lifting up, balancing before the heels touch. So we might fall forwards onto the heels, that's okay. We're just trying to go just shy, just before the feet come towards the floor. Okay, last one. Okay, stay on the buttocks, stay with a lift in the chest and open the heels. So lift the chest, open the heels. This reminds me of like happy baby, right? Both knees bent, we're opening the feet. That's it, and we're holding ourselves up. It's just before we fall back. Just before we fall back. Some of you are rolling backwards and falling backwards, that's okay too. All right, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then just hug into the center. Give yourself a little break into the center. All right, so let's now do a mobility task that some of you know very well. We're going from the one-legged pigeon into Ardha Matsyendrasana. So let's go to down dog. One-legged pigeon, we need the right knee behind the right wrist, the right foot towards the center, and we go back and down on the back leg. All right, here is the one-legged pigeon. We'll just lift up just for a moment. One-legged pigeon, right knee forwards. You can go onto your elbows if you'd like. We're not going to stay here for very long. We're going to transform this position in a moment. All right, let's transform it now. That back leg is going to swing around to the front. It crosses the right knee. And then we hug the right arm around the left knee, and then we twist. So we're spinning our lungs towards the left side. Hug that left knee into your chest. Take a couple of breaths here. This is the Ardha Matsyendrasana twist. Let's go back into one-legged pigeon. Unhook that foot all the way around. And here we are on our elbows, one-legged pigeon. And so if this doesn't feel safe in your joints, just do the postures separately. Don't go from one to the other. And the most interesting posture in this sequence would be the twist. So if you're only interested in doing the postures without all of this mucking around, swinging from side to side, then just do the twisting. Okay, let's go from one-legged pigeon up and around with that left leg, cross it over the right knee, and then hug the right arm around the knee. Pull yourself into the twist. Couple of breaths in the twist. We're going to do one last posture that comes through into this sequence. All right, so don't move your legs. Just bring your chest around the front, and now take your hands to the right of you. Uncross your legs and lengthen them. You're in the straddle. So pushing right back into the straddle. Legs are wide, hands are out front. Take a few breaths into this a wide-legged position. We're going back into the twist. The right knee comes down, you twist back. The left foot ends up beside the right knee, go back into the twist. And if you can't work it out, just go from posture to posture, kind of setting yourself up. Hopefully it doesn't feel like too much like a breakdance sequence. It's quite interesting in the hips, this sequence. That left leg is going to come around to the back. And here we are in one-legged pigeon again. All right, so if you wanted to try that once more, let's go quickly through each of those positions. However, if you're not interested, just do the twist or the straddle. Okay, one-legged pigeon, left leg comes around, Ardha Matsyendrasana, the twist. Twist, we unwind to straddle, hands to the right of you, unspin the legs. Here we are in straddle, the left foot will be off the mat. We're going to retwist the legs. The right knee comes down. We're twisting the legs again. Back into Ardha Matsyendrasana, into the twist, and back into one-legged pigeon. Left leg comes all the way around to the back. We're back on our elbows. And we'll go back into down dog now. So hands onto the mat, sweep back into down dog. Give yourself a little wiggle on, or a little walk in the down dog. We'll do the other side. Okay, so the left knee behind the left wrist. Left foot into the center, walk back and down the right leg. Here we are uplifted into the one-legged pigeon. Left knee is forwards. And so if the transition between the parts is annoying you, do the postures independently. They're all good postures alone. All right, so one-legged pigeon, elbows are on the floor. And then we're going to sweep that right leg, that back leg around to the front, hook it over the left knee and twist. Your left arm comes across to the right knee. So we twist the opposite arm across. We're looking towards the right. Let's just go back to one-legged pigeon, right leg, that crossed leg comes around to the back of the mat. Having a moment in one-legged pigeon. And then let's add the straddle this time. Hopefully you've got space enough to the left of you. All right, so back leg comes all the way around, crosses. Hook the arm and twist, Adho Matsyendrasana, and then spin yourself to the left. Hands come to the left of you, and you lengthen the legs and push right back into the straddle. And so you retwist. The left knee has to come down. The left foot hooks. The right foot hooks over the left knee. We're twisting. And then that right foot, that crossed leg comes all the way around. So the right leg is at the back. Left knee is bending at the front. Back into one-legged pigeon. In your own time, you can do that sequence again. So unwind into the straddle. Your right foot will be off your mat. I find these exercises interesting because of the complexity, the right and left complexity, the way that the mind boggles. It's good for the brain. And if you're not getting it, it doesn't matter too much. It's okay. For lots of you, you've practiced this one a couple of times, and so you already know it like we know kind of choreography. And we'll go back into our one-legged pigeon. Take a moment in our one-legged pigeon, and I'll meet you back in down dog. And so come into hands and knees and into wide-kneed child's pose. So knees to the edges of the mat, the buttocks comes back to the heels, and we can bring our hands underneath our face, just resting between your wide knees. Let's take wide-legged pigeon, thread the needle twist. So the knees can go even wider off the mat maybe. Take your hands onto the mat. The right hand is coming through the gap of the left hand and thigh. So bring yourself right shoulder towards the floor. And so if this one's too much, do it from hands and knees. If it doesn't feel good, just come from the hands and knees. This is where we usually do it from. So wide-legged child's pose just makes it lower and more complicated in the hips. Keep breathing, of course. You can push into that left hand on the floor. That kind of guides the top shoulder up a little more. And then going back into the center, just lift up, give yourself a moment. And then we'll go to the other side. So the left hand comes through that gap, the shoulder comes towards the floor. Keep pushing into your right hand. Keep breathing deep. For those who have to go on the hour, this is your last posture. All right, we'll finish with puppy pose just to make a sense of kind of symmetry. So hands walk forwards and we bring our shoulders and chest towards the floor, forehead onto the ground. You're really sticking your bum upwards. For those who really like this one, you can tuck your forehead onto the floor or your chin. So it might be that your chin's on the ground and your rib cage is sinking into the floor. Couple of breaths here, resetting yourself to the symmetry after those twists. And then we'll come up and into a seated position. So let's take ourselves, if you've got a bit of time left, because we've come to the kind of the formal end of the session. If you've got a bit of time left, we'll just give ourselves one last posture, and then we'll do a breathing practice. It may be that you need a block, and it may be that you need a belt. And so we're going to do Gomukhasana. So take the feet forwards, the blocks just in case. Take the left foot under, the left knee into the center. Take the right foot over. So the knees are stacked, and that may or may not be successful. Go as far as you can. Sit onto a block if it feels better. You can maybe lift your buttocks and try and get the legs to cross into the center to one another. If you're going to use a belt for your arms for Gomukhasana, we'll take the belt over the left shoulder. Lift your right arm up, bend your right arm and grab the belt. Take the left hand to the side and then under and grab the belt with your left hand. So walk your fingers along the belt. We'll just take a little, it's a complex pose, this Gomukhasana pose. It's good for the connective tissue around the hips and the shoulders. We're stretching, it's kind of intense in the connective tissue. So don't go aggressively. Once you're in the posture, you can lift your right elbow up a little bit and pull your left elbow down a little bit. Take deep, slow breaths. Last breath here. Pulling the right elbow up and the left elbow down. We're going to unwind the hands, just drop the belt. Take your right hand down to the floor and pull your left arm up and over. Because the left hip is trapped there, we can really pull away from the hip. So pulling over to the right, lifting your left arm right up and over. Couple of deep breaths in the side stretch. And then up into the center and uncross your legs. Let's go to the other side. So you might have a little roll in between sides just to be kind on the hips. Right foot under, right knee into the center. Left comes over, and you want to get the knees almost to line up. And that may not be possible for your legs. It might never happen, doesn't really matter. And if it doesn't feel safe in the knees or the hips, that underside leg can lengthen out. We'll take the belt. If you're going to use the belt for the arms, drop the belt over the right shoulder. Right arm comes up, bends, take the belt with fingers, left arm, no, other way, sorry. Left arm comes up, left arm up, bend, take the belt, right arm comes down, sweeps under, you take the belt. All right, and set yourself up, walk your fingers along the belt, pull your left elbow up a little, that top elbow up a little, the right elbow down a little, and breathe deep. Take 2 more deep, slow breaths. And hopefully this kind of practice where we're practicing focused on our energy body, we're focused on the prana that's flowing through us, through the connective tissue and around the organs, directed as it may be, as they say it is, through the focused mind. It may be that we knock a little of the lethargy, so we'll unwind the arms, take the belt away, and then you're pulling across to the left, so lift the right arm up, knocking the lethargy that we might be otherwise experiencing, the lethargy that comes from a lot of confusion, perhaps some fear, uncertainty, change. And it's been a long time in this situation together, or not together as it may be, not together. The lethargy of not being together. And we'll lift up into the center, unhook the legs, give yourself a little unwind. And then sit however you prefer to sit for the breathing practice. And so we'll do what's called ecstatic breathing. And this breath will knock the lethargy out of your body for sure. And we're going to turn on the tap of the happy drugs and just lift a little bit of happy drugs into the system. And so this is a mouth-based breath. We'll do the first 10 rounds. In, out, in, out. You can lie down and do this if you prefer. And so we want 2 big sips of breath in and drop the air out 10 times. At the 10th breath, we go in, hold. We'll just hold the breath for a little while. Okay, so as you're ready, I'll keep the count. You don't have to think. Okay, let's go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold. Drop your chest a little bit. If you've taken too much air in, which is highly probable, let a little bit of air seep out. Drop your chest, soften your belly, soften your face. As soon as you need to let go of that air, you can let go. We're holding just for as long as we feel comfortable and good. Let's all let it go now. Pause a moment in the afterglow. And you'll feel your skin tingling, perhaps your hands are tingling, perhaps your face and chest. All right, let's do the next round. 15 breaths, and it's deep in and let it go. On the 15th breath, deep in, exhale out, hold out. On the 15th breath, we're going to hold the breath out, only for as long as it's comfortable. If we end up holding too much air and we feel trapped in vacuum-like in the center, we just take a little bit of a sip in. We don't want to be struggling as we hold the breath. All right, so 15 breaths. If it feels like it's too much, just do 10 and stop there. Okay, when you're ready, join me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Last one. Hold out. Swallow, lick the inside of your mouth, maybe your lips. If you feel like you're holding too much air out, take a little sip in. Lock out at your throat so you can hold yourself steady. Only holding out for as long as you feel comfortable. As soon as you don't feel comfortable anymore, you take an inhale. Let's all take an inhale now. Give yourself a little stretch, little side stretch, just to get rid of any intensity that's being experienced. A little hug forward, a little wiggle around, a little cactus arms, stretch the arms and the chest. Okay, let's come into a seated meditation just for a couple of minutes together, and then we'll finish with our mantra. If you don't have time, you can catch up in the replay. You can do this last little bit again on the recording. So let yourself sit, hands down, palms up, palms down, whatever feels better. Okay, soften your mouth, soften your eyes, let your head float. You might bring your ears back slightly. Head floating right on top of the skull, right on top of the spine. Head floating, lifted up through the spine. Shoulders resting. Hands are heavy on the lap. Soften your tongue, soften your jaw, your face, your eyes. Become aware of the periphery at the sides of your eyes, even if your eyes are closed, which I recommend that they be closed eyes, but soften and feel the edges of the eyes. Become awake to the periphery, even with your eyes closed. If anything is happening around the face, if it feels weird in any part of the face, take a little tiny smile. A little smile opens the back of the mouth and creates almost like a positive effect quite immediately on the whole system. If there's anything at all, a little smile. We're not doing any meditation technique. We're just sitting here. We're alive. We're awake and we're aware. We're alive. We're awake and we're aware. This is sometimes called effortless awareness meditation. We're sitting, we're alive, awake, and aware. We're going to finish with the Medicine Buddha mantra. And so perhaps it will take a little reminding. We haven't done this mantra together for a while. It may be that you remember instantly and join me. It may be that you're not familiar with this mantra at all. And it may be that you're just going to listen. Don't try to learn it. Your mind, when it's restful, awake, aware, is very absorbent. That mind will absorb if we're not kind of trying to hold on. So let the mantra happen rather than trying to hold on to it. And so whether you're going to join me in the mantra or just listen, bring your hands into the center. Just take your palms together. You're feeling the centeredness. The energy is drawing in. Medicine Buddha mantra. May all beings everywhere, wherever there is suffering, confusion, illness, ill health, sadness, anger, jealousy, any of those states, any of that irritability on the system, any lack of ease, any dis-ease, may it be healed. Teata om bekanze, bekanze, mahabekanze, rajatsamogate soha. Teata om bekanze, bekanze, mahabekanze, rajatsamogate soha. Teata om bekanze, Bekanze, Mahabekanze, Rajasamogate Soha. Two more. Teata, Om Bekanze, Bekanze, Mahabekanze, Rajasamogate Soha. Teata Om Bekanze, Bekanze, Mahabekanze, Rajasamogate Soha. And 3 times calling the mantra of Om as though you're calling out to yourself across a foggy sky, calling out to yourself, calling yourself home. Aum Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.